Nautilus is going to get locked here by Nova, and immediately KBG responds with the series. The only difference now is that Nova is ditching the Wukong in place of the Renekton, having that extra insurance for Yitze. We all know that
Uh-huh.
Yitze is so comfortable on the Renekton, one of the champions that he really spammed during the beginning of the group stages as well.
Yeah, so we're never gonna be seeing the light of day. It's one of the methods that J Team had against Nova Esports. KBG just fully respecting that as well. The only way for Neon to be able to get this is through the first pick phase, but that's not really the best thing to do. Shinza this time around is the way to go for the ton as well. This is gonna solidify their front to back team fighting. Lots of isolation tools. They can go with the
Wait,
Varus still, but they go with the Ziggs. Just perfect here for team fights. Explosive, consistent DPS, the burst, the setups, the crowd control, it's all there.
and one of the concerns I do have when playing the Olaf is if the opposing team has a Gragas. Okay, one way to look at it is, yeah, sure, you have a Ragnarok that can negate all those pushback coming from the Gragas, all those crowd control. But it's not you that you have to be worried about. It's your teammates. Because oftentimes, you know, once a Ragnarok gets committed, the explosive cask will be casted right behind the Olaf, making sure that there will be no one to back him up in his engage. And
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, oh, by the way, that's WBG's cheat, right? Okay, anyway. And when that happens, a huge chunk of damage will be available for the Ziggs. Burst is going to be there, and of course, Zeri come late game will be a problem. So I'm not 100% sure if Olaf really is the answer here, but this is basically their way in saying, hey, you know what? Our early game was abysmal during game
Yeah.
number 4, and best way to perfect it or to correct it is by drafting an early game jungler in the lab. So we'll see this matchup between KBG versus Nova. Pivotal game number 5 underway.
Who will get the advantage here in this match would be Nova Esports or Keepes Gaming. We have our concerns here on the Olaf pick. There is a lot of ways for them to like wreck the positionings here of Nova Esports. Again, the Gragas of Yuyu is just always outstanding, especially in the previous game, right? That's where Nova Esports needs to be a lot more careful. And Rondo winning against Neon, that short
Yeah.
exchange. This is fascinating to see.
Oh.
KG flashing away, just suddenly got surprised there by Yam in remake.
2 minutes and 30 seconds on that flash. But there is a lane swap. This is not common, at least in the series, right? It's not often that we see lane swap happening. I mean, I think the last time we saw lane swap was game number 1. But now KBG it was actually Nova that initiated that lane swap, sending their duo on the top lane, trying to help the Renekton. Because believe it or not, I think Fiora does actually win against the Renekton. It's one of the matchups, especially with the recent buffs on the Fiora. It's not yet live here though, because the buff happened on patch 4.2b, and we're still playing on patch 4.2a, right? Like Fiora versus Renekton, oh man, that's a disaster for the Renekton. But now Yitze, he's going to get engaged on by the double explosive duo. And this is why it is very scary as a face against the Gragas and the Ziggs, because of the amount of wave clear towers faster than their opposition. When you look at the tower plate, it's as clear as a day that KBG's tempo is definitely in the lead.
Yeah, they're gonna mimic the one series that we saw, or one game that we saw, 2 minutes, first tower.
Oh man.
Right on point. KBG having a massive lead without any fights, 1,500 gold lead against Nova Esports.
Yeah.
Very concerning here for Nova.
Indeed, like Nova initiated this lane swap against the Gragas and a Ziggs. Not the best choice, my friend. And like Yitze is just strolling down the park. We'll have an easier time to farm now for sure, because this is going to be a long lane. And you know, one would say that, hey, you know what, this is a blessing in disguise. At least now I can farm my minions, I can level up. But if you ever cross the river, that long lane will allow all members of KBG to just chase you down and to kill you as well. And so now it is just going to be problematic because if KBG decides to go for the dragon, the impact of the Rift Herald has already been negated. We have to remember that you secure the Rift Herald for one thing, securing the first tower. But the first tower is already destroyed, so what's the sense of this Rift Herald? Tower plates, that's okay, but that's mid.
Yeah. Right now, KBG is just the one leading everything right now in this game. They can even later on threaten maybe for a double objective take because Nova eSports right now seems to be at a loss in terms of team fighting. Not to mention the possibility of KBG being able to punish and isolate Long when he goes in. And that's just so difficult deal right now, especially with additional gold that KBG did get, that they can get in the early game through the plates in the top lane, and they're slowly doing that right now.
They cannot even dive KG. In no way or form can they kill this Fiora. We'll see though, they will attempt.
It's baiting them. It's
They're waiting for KG to use his riposte preemptively, and once he ever uses the riposte, that's the go signal for Nova eSports to just go all in. But because of the patience of KG not even using that riposte preemptively, it thwarted off the attempt of Nova eSports to even try and get the head of this Fiora. It also helps that Unrun9 was able to get himself here in the bot lane, and you look at this, Giyang, Nova is the one running away here in the bot lane.
Oh man, KBG just completely winning all three lanes as of this moment, and feeling no pressure in any of the lanes. Even KG at 2v1 situation, not at all scared, not at all pressured, still very disciplined and patient. And Nova eSports right now will have a chance at least for this dragon. Maybe they can find a way to take it down through the package, probably. But still, they need Yami to set things up. They need that pick off.
Dragon has spawned here, Mountain Dragon. So both teams knows that the Rift Herald's value is no longer at a premium, so they kind of want to do this now.
There's a package. He disengages. There's the Crescent Sweep to Megan for the bomb onto Yami.
Yami.
But again, this Olaf is all alone. That's the isolation that we talked about. And Nova eSports is forced back. Free Dragon for KBG.
Oh man, this is again the risk that you run into if you draft the Olaf into a Gragas lineup. Explosive Cask, Olaf by himself cannot really do a thing. There is a phase in where we see Olaf getting attached or getting supported by the Uni, and that is to make sure that he's not going to be there by himself. But you look at this, like, oh man, against the Tone with the Crescent Sweep and Xiaoma's damage as well. It is also very documented that Ziggs counters the Olaf as well, mainly because you cannot really build that much magic resistance in your build path in the early stages of the game. No, because normally, if you're the Olaf, you wanna deal damage. So going for the Black Cleaver as your first buy, and then Warmog's Armor are the options that we often see. Not really goes for not really the Force Nature that is, you know, a huge chunk of magic resistance. So anyway, Long and company is here in the Rift Herald. I think they can secure this.
They should try. Okay, no steal gonna be happening for KBG, but the damage is still real from the Mega for the bomb. And now here comes Anran, even with a flash invested, gets a kill onto the Olaf. Renekton as well. Neon falling down. There's gonna be
Ultra Shock Laser.
Remake. He is still alive. The body stab misses.
What?
But one more auto attack should do the trick. No! Remake survives. Ambitious take, but still.
Yeah.
KBG.
It's an air body slam, right? Like air ball. He went for it, right? Like with a flash. But that still is okay if you're KBG. That just means that, hey, you know what? Yu is in a very good condition and is not shying away to go for those very good engages. And we look into this team fight, immediately you would see the AoE effect of Xiaoma's Mega Inferno Bomb, including the fact that you have Unrun9 that will just go aggressive, hop over the wall, flash in, get that last hit. And although Remake was able to get the head of Yu, it is a very convincing win for KBG. WRL Season 2 winners. Oh my, they're threatening match point here, Giyang.
This is a massive lead right now by KBG. Even if it's just like 4,000, the substance of it is just really good. The gold funneling is perfect, well distributed to their carries. That's why we see every single one of them not being scared at all to face Nova Esports right now. Is because of the gold that they have acquired. And also, as they scale up, Nova Esports is going to have a much harder time resisting the damage. Look at that one Mega Inferno Bomb. Already a big chunk of health taken out. Yami trying to fall back. The Olaf as well. Long trying to run. Flashes away. But there's the chase. There's the slow Yu. Almost connecting the body stab. They should be fine. But again, this is the constant pressure that KBG... Remake. Oh my. Will there be a cast? No.
Okay. Wind becomes lightning. Going to hit the Grom instead of being that assassination tool. Wait, what? Okay, so KBG Xiaoma was very confident. He was receiving like tower shots one after another, but doesn't matter. Oh man, Long with a long face right now for sure. 0-2 and 0 start for an Olaf. Dude, that's a nightmare. Definitely a very grim nightmare for his fans and for Nova Esports fans all across the world right now.
Nova, this draft is not working. We're not seeing their usual playstyle as well. KBG is fully recognizing this. Yeah. They're making sure they regret this decision. We haven't seen any team fight that Nova Esports is in control. Most of the time we see them just trying to get the objective and run away. And that's not a good sign if you're Nova Esports, as KBG will just punish you for every single bit of lead that you give to them.
Yeah, again, my concern was, is Olaf really the answer to this lineup of KBG? I just don't think so, right? Like, after studying so many competitive games, I just know the extent of what Olaf can accomplish in a game. And in this particular draft, KBG has enough damage, has enough separation tool or disengage tool to make sure that the teammates of Long won't be there to help him. Now you look at Long, he wants to contest this dragon for sure.
Will they be able to be successful with it though? It's so difficult. Long is already low. KBG pressuring them down. There's a poke, there's a body slam, and they turn. There's the zap as well! And the grand challenge healing is perfect for KBG to sustain. Nova Esports trying to escape. They're unsuccessful and they lost so many members. KBG will get this dragon, will be able to defend that mid tower as well. Long just trying to get something from his own farm, but is being prevented by the Fjord of KG.
Oh,
Neon running away. Fortunately, there's a flash, but again, just the lead continues to build up for KBG.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, 2 dragons to the side of KBG, 8-1 in kills, and a very comfortable 8k gold lead for the reigning defending champions of WRL Season 2. I guess it's time to really put on our thinking hat. How would Nova respond in the next game? How would they extend this into game number 7? Because again, just by looking into our screens right now, Giyang, this is already close to insurmountable. I mean, whatever Nova tries to attempt to do against KBG, KBG is there to respond, and with better items, Nova cannot do anything.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch. This is not the Nova Esports we saw earlier in the first 2 games in the series. KBG just completely outplaying them in every single instance, winning in every single factor needed for this game.
Yeah.
And it's as if there wasn't any adjustment from the previous game, from game 4. We haven't seen any changes except for the champions. The process, the results are still remaining the same.
Yeah. Like, this is also my concern from yesterday's series. Nova Esports' reluctance to prioritize the Gragas in gifting it towards or over to Yu, over to who was it again? DY. It's a no bueno. You cannot do that here in competitive.
Yeah. Absolutely no way. Right now, KBG is slowly closing out this game, wanting to take this game out. I mean, this is basically match point if they win.
Oh.
and it's so hard to take away. Nova eSports, being a little bit desperate. They're just trying to stay in this game right now, not give this as easily as the previous game earlier. KG though is threatening on the back line, and the Crocodile is down instantaneously. The Olaf as well by Long is completely negligible at this point, and KBG just gets free 2 kills.
No jungler means one thing. Baron open for the taking the zone. Ditching the Kazakhs is also a very welcome sight. Not a fan of his Kazakhs, but whenever he plays something else, something that can't really put more support towards his team, like the Xinjiao, like the Aatrox, it's a lot better, right? I think one of the bigger things that I really want to emphasize about the Tone, whenever he's on a tank tier champion like Xinjiao, like Aatrox, he's able to do more. Right? Like, we have to remember that one of his best champions is the Shen. And again, I'm just not a fan of his Kazakhs. Same, I think Dash also has the same opinion. How about you, Guillaume? Do you think, his Kazakhs needs to not show up anymore in this game?
Kinda. But though we did see that a while ago. It was okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's not insane, right? Maybe, the same. As right now, though, Nova eSports, this might be a chance. KBG is a little bit scattered. Nian is actually doing a lot of work.
Doesn't matter, though.
Still not enough. Not enough. KBG is just too far ahead that they can win even in a bad scenario.
15 minutes game incoming after taking the tower. First 2 minutes of the game. Neon by himself to defend. The Nexus Shield's anti-push is there though. Can it do enough though against a 3-man push by KBG? Looks like it's a done deal. We're heading into game number 6 with KBG on match point.
This time, they're not the ones catching up in terms of score. They're the ones threatening for a match